Hey everybody, I'm Justin Bohn.
And I'm Mike Val.
And this is the Bohn and Zano Zone, where we are always on the lanes, off the charts, and on the mic. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Bohn and Zano Zone podcast, presented by BuddiesProShop.com. Mike, episode number 3 of season number 2. We got a great topic on tonight's agenda.
We do, and we'll get to that in a second here. So I'm going to start off tonight's little episode with a segment that I came up with about 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't that long ago, and we're going to call this segment. We're going to open up every show like this for the duration of our time here. We're going to call this one "The Week in Wichita."
What's up in Wichita?
What's up in Wichita? So, Justin, what's up in Wichita this week?
So, since we've talked last, I would say that we really didn't get to talk about my performance in Dallas, because the last time we chatted, it was about the Leatherneck in the Quad Cities.
Mm-hmm.
But we bowled in Dallas 2 weeks ago before we went home for Thanksgiving. Won both events. It was 2 tournaments each day, Saturday and Sunday, and then made my first all-tournament team, which was pretty cool, pretty exciting.
Oh, man.
Yeah, struck a lot. I got lined up and everything was just going my way.
So you had Bohn carry for the weekend.
Yes. Slapping 7 Philly.
Ooh. Were we purple balling, or were we actually throwing something reactive?
We were purple balling for a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Purple ball was in play for 2 to 3-ish games. I bowled 240 to start, and then struggled a little bit, bowled like 199 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then went into the track heat, bowled 240, 260, 2-0. And then the last game, I couldn't get out of my own way and bowl 170. In the middle of changing balls and just didn't see it at the right time.
Yeah.
But still, second place finish, all tournament team. It was
man.
It was pretty good. So
I tip my cap to you.
Well, thank you.
And to the rest of Shocker Nation, with just another notch in the belt there for the endless list of wins that school's produced over the years.
Yeah, the women swept the all tournament team both days.
Oh wow!
The men had 4 out of 5 on the all tournament team both days. It was good. It was definitely a good weekend.
It was a nice bus ride back to Wichita.
Yes.
Yeah.
But even when I was home, catch up a little bit about this too. I bowled the Morrisville Turkey Shoot Thanksgiving Eve and had a really good showing.
Yeah.
Finished second place, 947 for 4 on the house shot, and gave them my biggest cash winnings so far.
Sorry, I missed that one this year.
Yeah, I know. That was very disappointing.
Wasn't that the one last year where I made my first ever appearance on your vlog? And
could have been.
Yeah, I think it was. That was the one where I believe I told your brother he beat me. He let's say he was 4th and I was 5th, whatever it was.
Right.
I think that's where I just kind of stole your phone when you were live, and I said, "You guys should be beating me, but I'm an old man who's fat and bald, and there's no reason why you kids can't beat the old man." And I think that was what all your viewers loved. They're like, "Who is this guy?"
Say that one more time. You cut out.
I said that's where I said last year that your brother and all you kids should never lose to a fat old bald guy like myself. And I think that was the line that your viewers loved. Were like, "Who is this guy? He's hysterical."
And then something about I think Brandon being left-handed too was like the only reason he bowled good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't win, and that was a good tournament last year. Was Brandon was out of the cash with a game to go,
Yeah,
and he bowled a monster game. Like, I think he might have bowled 280 the last game.
Yeah.
And this guy here bowled 279, I want to say, the last game. And there was a guy down there. I was standing with your father, and I had bowled 279, so I knew I had the winner take all locked up for the last game.
Right.
And this guy he bowled 260 and change, and he was just rambling on and on and on how he was going to win the winner take all on the last game pot. And your father looks at me, he goes, I guess he's a little bit too drunk to see that you just bowled 279 and you're taking every dime out of this place.
Yeah.
And they announced my name. He didn't know what to do with himself, and I went to Wendy's right afterwards.
Yeah, we almost did that this year. I made 450 for second place, and then won 3 brackets, so another 75 on top of it.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, it was definitely nice to walk out with cash and not just more than 20 or 50 bucks,
and not going into a smart account either.
Yeah, that was cool to hold the wad of money.
And Dansbury and Pat Lucci, they do a good job up there. So
yeah, any events that they run, I always try and support them.
Yep, always support.
They've supported us throughout the years. So.
Yep,
absolutely.
So that's the recap here. I bowled the Masters a couple weeks ago.
Oh yes, you need to share your Masters.
What?
A little bit about your score, because I knew we were going to do a giveaway, but I don't think that we had any entries.
I was 75 over for the 5.
Okay.
And I'm just going to leave it where there's a little bit of a backstory that I don't really want to get into.
We don't know about it. We don't need to.
Nope. No, we're just going to say that I was the alternate, and the finals are not official yet. We'll leave it at that.
That's probably a pretty good way to leave it. Yeah.
Yep, fair enough. So let's jump into our topic at hand this week.
I would definitely agree. Tonight we are talking about the 2021 PBA Player Award nominations, and more specifically the Player and Rookie of the Years. This season had a lot of things go on, between, records being broken, records being shattered, lots of money. I'd say this was a pretty good season, I would say.
For the first year that Bolero took it over, they did a good job with it. They put a lot of money into the prize funds.
The first normal year they took it over.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they still had the COVID rules and whatnot, but they did a really good job. So
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. So let's just go to the Player of the Year. We'll make this one short and sweet, but I think we're both going to be on the same page. Troop, Frankie, Doherty, Simo, Vi, Mr. Cooley, and Mr. Maldonado.
Yeah, I think this was actually could have been a lot closer than I think most people could have thought. Francois Lavoie, I think, won 2 titles.
He won the TSC.
I know he won the TSC, and he won the Super Slam. I don't know if he won an additional title besides that. Tom Doherty had like a week of a lifetime at the World Series of Bowling.
Yes.
Finished second in the doubles, won the
Tom.
World Championship, and won the Scorpion Championship.
Tampa Tom.
Yeah, exactly. One of his home centers.
Tom Doherty, Tom Brady, Tampa Tom, all the same guy, right?
Exactly.
Now, Mr. Vi wins the U.S. Open.
Say that again.
Mr. Vi, Chris Vi.
Yep.
Wins the U.S. Open.
That he did.
And I think we've said this before. I believe every show he's made has only been in a major.
Yeah, it's been pretty close to that. I know he had a stretch of time where he was making almost every major show. And it was no surprise really at all.
Yeah, he needed to go to the winner's circle, and that was only a matter of time. So first title for him being the U.S. Open, not a bad one to put on the resume.
Yeah, Sam Cooley gave it another pretty good run too. He had to be pretty high up there in money. He's finished second at the playoffs for $60,000.
He won the
300 on the TV show for another $10,000.
You were there for that one,
his first title at the World Series at the Cheetah Championship.
You were there the day he shot 300, right?
Yeah, I was. Sean Maldonado won his first. I think Sean won 2 titles. I believe he won the Scorpion Championship, I believe, at the World Series. And then I think he won in Lubbock. I think he won one of the summer tournaments.
Yeah, he won one of the summer ones, yeah.
So, lots of titles all around.
We didn't talk about Simo. We forgot Simo. We skipped over him.
Yeah, I think he won the tour finals. beat Kyle Troop. But Kyle.
Now let's go to Kyle.
Yeah, let's go to Kyle.
Let's go to Mr. Fro.
Started off the season winning the biggest paying money event on tour in 10 years. $250,000 at the Players, winning his first major. Wins the playoffs, makes a bunch of major shows, makes a bunch of shows in general. Just an all-around great year. Second at the Super Slam. I mean, he just second at the Tour Finals. He
One word. Dominated.
Yes, he just dominated the season start to finish. And for my pick, it's really not close.
And let's not forget this. I know this doesn't count towards his vote on tour. He won an Eagle this year as well at the Nationals.
Yeah.
I was actually out there the week. I bowled Tuesday, Wednesday. He bowled Thursday, Friday, and we actually hung out. We were hanging out in the pool with him the one day, the day before he bowled the team event, and he murdered them in the team event.
Yeah.
So he also won an Eagle this year.
Yeah, he's put on a pretty dominant performance in the bowling world.
Yeah, everything this guy bowls, and he is. I honestly, with Belmo not bowling, still with the restrictions, I would say Troop is probably the best bowler in the world, hands down.
Yeah, he definitely had the best season on tour this year, out of anyone. And if you take him out of the equation, the other 6 guys that we mentioned, it would be a hell of a lot closer.
Oh, absolutely. And I think Doherty would probably be up towards the top of that because he had the titles.
Yep.
He won a major. I think he would probably be the runner-up to Troop, and if Troop wasn't there, I think he would be Player of the Year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see it going any other way than Kyle Troop.
No, he broke the money record. I mean, Walter had it. I think Walter was like a 300K was his best year.
I think Walter was 420, I think.
Did Walter hit 400?
I think he did hit 400.
We can't pull that because they don't have stats on PBA.com anymore.
Right.
But did Walter get to 400? I don't know if Walter.
I think he did because I think he had to win.
He won the world championship for 120. There was like 2003 is the big year Walter had.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to look this up. Keep going.
Okay. Because I remember at the time he had to finish second, I believe, at the playoffs to break that record, and Frankie could have got there if he won. I think when he won, he was at 460 or 470. So I think it was around 400. From what I remember, at least what they talked about on the TV shows.
So I'm looking up Walter's stats.
Okay.
You know how many TV shows Walter's made in his career?
A lot.
Take a guess.
180.
182.
That was pretty close.
That was through 2012.
Wow.
Most final matches through this is not updated through the 2009-2010 season.
Yeah.
He's bowled for the title 92 times.
Wow.
I am looking here. I want to see them. They have to have a breakdown of the stats, right?
Yeah.
So 47 career titles. It had to be 03 because he won the World Championship. He won in Tacoma. He won the Masters, and he won another title. But I want to say that World Championship was for 120.
Okay.
So it had to be that. It had to be that year because I remember they made a big thing about it. So but Troop shattered the record. What did Troop get? Did Troop get to 500 this year?
I don't think he got to 500. I think he was. I think he was at 490 at least. I don't think he got to 500 though.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And you know what? It's about time that bowlers are starting to compete for some serious cash.
Yeah, and I mean Frankie, like I just said, if Frankie wins the playoffs, he gets there. He breaks that record.
100%.
And I mean him, and that was the big match in the turning point for the Player of the Year race was at the playoffs because Frankie and Kyle bowled each other to get to the title match.
Okay, I have the stats, Justin.
Okay.
So Walter has made in his career $4.9 million.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Walter's biggest year on tour was 2002, so I was close.
Yeah.
Walter had 3 titles. He made match play. Christ, he made match play 19 for 19 that year.
That's nuts.
It's insane.
That's a lot.
419,000 he made that year.
Okay, yeah, I was close with 420. Yeah.
So, how about this one? In 1993,
Okay.
and this is what people say, this is when everything turned, but that was when resin came out.
Right.
And that's what everybody says, well, that's when Walter became Walter. It's not. Walter was Walter in the 80s.
Right.
All right. Resin did help him, but it didn't make Walter Ray Walter Ray.
Right.
In 1993, Walter Ray won. I'm going to get this right. He pulled 33 tournaments. Okay.
Okay.
He cashed 29 times. He made match play 24 times. That's the old format where you're bowling 18 and then 24 games, not like it is now.
Right.
All right. He made the show, if I'm reading this right, 15 times.
That's a lot. That's
7
almost
titles.
Half.
No, I'm sorry, 5 titles. 290,000 he made in 93. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4. Taking out the year that he won the 400,000.
Right.
He's made over 200 grand 5 times on tour.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just ridiculous. And Troop blew that out of the water this year.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't beat it by like a couple hundred or a couple thousand. He beat it by 70 or 80,000.
Kyle Troop. So Kyle Troop this year. See, this can't be right. They don't have his 21 stats up.
Oh, yeah.
So it doesn't have it. It has career earnings. It doesn't have what he earned in 2021. Let's see if I can pull it this way. $496,900. So let's just round it up. He made $500K this year.
Yeah. I mean, he blew that record out of the water.
Yeah. And honestly, it's about time the bowlers are starting to get that money to bowl for that kind of prize fund.
Yeah. And I do think that this conversation could have happened a little bit differently had Frankie won the playoffs or even beat Kyle and finished second at the playoffs. Then it would have been a lot closer. But Kyle was ahead by a little bit at that point in the season. Mm-hmm. And when he won that match, that just about set him apart from the rest of the players.
Is there a better bowler with the money on the line than Frankie Lavoie?
I mean,
right now.
That's a hard one. He's up there because he just does his own thing. I mean, his emotions never change when he's on the approach, no matter how much he's bowling for. You never see him really get too excited. He just kind of stays in his own game.
Even when he bowled up in Maine, he was very even keeled. He didn't really play to the crowd that much. He was very I don't say blah, but he was very calm.
Right.
You know, right. He never really gets into it. But my God, when they're hard and you put up a 6-figure payday for first, he is always there.
Always.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
This is let's say a little bit before your time, but we've talked to him. He's been on our show before. He's a modern day Mike Albee. Albee was always there for the money in the majors. He was always there when there was a big payday. And same thing with Frankie.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, so let's bring up the rookies that have an opportunity to win this title. Zach Weidman, Anthony Nyer, Matt Russo, Wesley Lowe Jr., Dio Bernard, and Benjamin Martinez. I mean, this is I'm gonna say this is a little bit closer than the Player of the Year race.
This is a lot closer.
But in my opinion, there's a clear winner in my eyes.
I think we're gonna have the same person.
Matt Russo.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And I think that the biggest thing is he's the only guy on this list to win a title.
Win a title. And let's just clarify it right now. Matt did bowl on tour last year. They did not have enough tournaments to qualify for Rookie of the Year, so it carries over to this season.
Yeah, so some of these guys bowled enough events to have qualified for the award last year, but they didn't have the award in 2020 due
Mhm.
to COVID.
So I would have to go Matt 1 if we're going to do a runner-up. I I would have to go with Nair.
Okay,
I mean, he did make the show at the Open.
right.
He did get the invite to bowl the King of Swing.
The King of Lanes.
Oh, the King of Lanes. That's King of Lanes.
Yep.
Um, and I believe he made one other show, right?
I don't think so. My
Oh,
my set my runner up would be Zach Weidman.
because of what he did in the um, in the players.
Well, he did that. I believe he made a second show. And I was actually talking to Matt a little bit today before the show.
Mhm.
He told me he was only one cash ahead of Zach.
Really
Yeah. So I think because of that, that puts him a lot closer. I don't think, I mean, when Anthony wasn't there, he really wasn't there.
makes sense.
I think Zach was at least a little bit more of a factor for more than just a couple of events.
If Nair would have snapped off the U.S. Open, I think the conversation would be a little different.
It'd be a lot different. Yeah.
All right.
It would be a lot different. But
Yeah,
the
I
way
think
that
that's the clear cut winner. I think.
yeah, I don't think it's really even close. I mean, some of these guys made TV shows, but I mean, titles are going to
One
beat
time.
shows
Yes.
9 times out of 10.
Oh, absolutely. You know, that
Uh,
speaks for itself right there.
yeah. So I mean that answers that question. I don't think
Yeah.
there's any comparison, to be honest.
No, and we're in agreement on both rookie and the player of the year.
Yeah,
So we'll just have to wait to see what the verdict is. The results come out this no 2 weeks.
I believe December 16th is the
Yeah,
date.
2 weeks.
So they'll announce the Tony Reyes Community Service, Steve Nagy
Stephen Nagy.
Sportsmanship Award, Rookie of the Year, and Player of the Year between the 13th and the 16th.
Yeah,
So
we have a couple weeks.
That is when that will come out. 15 days, 16 days. It's December 1st.
Yep.
Hard to believe it's already December.
Scary, isn't it?
That's mind blowing.
It is.
I feel like I got here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it feels like I was at the beach yesterday, and we're almost through with the year.
Yeah.
And we want to put to bed this year. It's everybody thought that it would be a better 2022 or 2021 rather than 2020 was, and it really hasn't. It's been kind of just like a mirror image of what last year was.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
I
besides
know
the 3-month lockdown,
yeah,
it's just been
but
kind of blah because
it
of
has been, and in the bowling world, last week took a big hit.
yeah.
We lost two guys, two Jersey guys, or one is definitely a full time Jersey guy. One was a migrated from New York. Two Hall of Famers. We lost Tita and Roth last week.
Yep.
They both passed away. So I'll hit you with this one, Justin. Give me, and I know you've had interactions with both of them in your lifetime.
Go ahead.
Give me your best memory or best story of Tita and Roth,
Oh,
and I'll
boy.
give you mine.
I think the best thing that Roth that comes to mind, first thing that comes to mind is 710.
Obviously, but what about a moment with you? Like, did you have any interactions with Mark that you had?
I don't know that I really remember enough of them between him or Tita.
Okay.
I know we had some very short, brief conversations at the PBA League before they moved to the new side of Bayside, which was 2013, 2014.
And you were a baby back then, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking 7 years ago. I mean, I was 11 or 12, 10.
Yeah.
I don't really remember a whole lot about it. I mean, obviously, when I saw him, I would say hello to him.
Of course.
But besides that, I don't really remember enough interactions with them to have a memory stand out in my mind.
Tita was great. They used to own the shop at Carolier.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When OJ had left, the Semezes went to Carolier. So and I don't even know if you know this, but if you picture the bowling center now, the upstairs part, if you go by lane 1, I think that's a game room or there's some video games there.
Yeah.
That used to be the pro shop.
Oh,
So
really?
that was OJ's shop. That was Tommy Semez's shop before they moved. And I remember when they took over, I would always go in there, and when I used to practice with Johnny Jr., and Tita would be in there just singing Frank Sinatra
Really?
all the time. And he would, nicest guy in the world. He would always practice, help anybody out, and he just knew so much. But I think he only won 3 times on tour, 3 times on the national tour, 8 times on the senior tour, and he always just said, "I just never had my head in it to do it anymore."
Right.
But you know what? He's in the Hall of Fame. He has 3 titles. Can't take it away from him.
Right.
And really good guy. And I'll give you my one Roth story.
Okay.
My first ever regional I bowled was 2 weeks after I graduated high school. So it was 2001.
Okay.
And we bowled at Jersey Lanes in Linden.
Okay.
So my cross was this guy, Al Jones, who used to run the pro shop up at Rockaway Lanes. He passed away a couple years ago. Al was a really cool guy, really good guy. Steve Stein.
Okay.
And Roth. Now,
Good
this is
cross.
when Roth was like making his comeback, basically. He kind of like fell off the map for a while.
Okay.
And this is when he was coming back. He just started bowling the senior tour. And I did not go to the non-member meeting on Friday. Okay. I
That probably
bowled the
wasn't very
practice.
smart.
It was not very smart. And for anybody who wants to bowl a regional, go to the non-member meeting on Friday. It's you need to go. So I did not go to the meeting. And I didn't know Steve Stein like I do now. I didn't know Steve. Like, I knew of him, but I didn't know him like personally like we do now, right?
Right.
So whatever, we both practice, and I got my cross. So I look on the wall, Steve Stein, Al Jones, Mark Roth. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. He's a bowler Roth. Like, Roth's a legend, right?
Right.
Well, I'm letter B, right? Roth,
Yeah.
letter D. So I see B up there. Go grab my ball. I cut Roth off. I didn't know about the double jump rule in a PBA tournament in the lane courtesy and tour. I cut him off.
Oh.
And let's just say that was the only time in 10 games Roth said a word to me. There was a lot of expletives thrown in that sentence. And it was, without the expletives, the end of the sentence was, "Don't ever do that again." And Al Jones, the guy on my pair, he pulled me off to the side and he explained to me the courtesy. And that's my fondest Mark Roth memory of him just absolutely verbally castrating me at that regional. And Justin, I've never been so nervous to bowl before. You're bowling with a guy who's a legend of the game. Like,
Right.
literally, he transformed the game, right?
Oh yeah.
And I didn't know what to do. Like, he actually like made me like crap my pants. I was so nervous.
Wow.
Like, I didn't know. I put my hand out. Like, I didn't want to bowl. I was so done. I finished dead last. I might have been 900 under for the 10 games.
That's
Like, it
not
was
good.
just no, but it was an experience. So that was my Roth story. But 2 legends gone.
Yeah. Very, very unfortunate. Very sad week in the bowling world.
It
No doubt.
was. So let's get to some happy news. We have any happy news we can report in the bowling world?
Let's see. We didn't really get a chance to talk about the Senior World Championships. Tom Hess.
We have a world champion.
Tom Hess winning senior gold medal at the singles.
Yep.
I believe that was the only gold medal from Team USA on the men's or the women's side.
Yes. Grandpa Barnes did get him. He got a medal in doubles, I believe.
Yeah, and I think Dad came home with a mixed team event bronze.
Yep, he got a bronze.
So with the format change, Dad said it was a much different format than they've bowled in years past, and it was really you gotta bowl when it's your time to bowl.
Yeah, when you need it, you have to have it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of going towards like the Olympic status. I mean, when you look at all these big races, for the 100-meter dash, it's one race.
That's why Usain Bolt. Yeah, Usain Bolt always has it when he needs it.
Yeah, you got to have it when you need it.
I did see Grandpa did shoot 300 out there.
Yes, he did do that.
How many gold medals has he won in his career?
It's probably a lot.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we keeping you awake?
No.
No.
Yes.
How many gold medals do you think Barnes has won in his career?
I would say he's won a lot. I mean, from being a part of Team USA, we talked about it last week, 17 times or
That's
more.
sick.
The amount of events he's been
Here's a
able to
question
bowl.
for you. Does Mrs. Barnes still bowl competitively, or did she kind of like semi-retire?
I don't know that for a fact. I don't know if she like bowls league or anything.
Linda was a hell of a bowler.
Yeah.
Hell of a player.
I don't know if she's kind of like mom. Where mom pretty much only bowls like the county and the state stuff, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Competitively,
I know she doesn't bowl anymore.
Right, not like on tour or anything.
No.
But
so what do we got going on next?
Well, next up on the college schedule, we're bowling in Vegas the 17th to the 22nd or 21st, right around there.
It's a shame that I'm not going to see you out there. I'm going out there to do some work with Billy Hall and his clinics and a little Q&A that I'm being the MC for. And I think I leave just as you arrive, or like the day before you arrive.
Right.
Sucks. So it'll be nice to see you out there.
Holiday doubles.
Holiday doubles in St.
Holiday
Louis.
doubles is next event on the schedule for me. Bowling with Dad. That's gonna be fun. I've heard the left is very good at the center we bowl at.
It's always been very good there.
More than once, so I'm very excited for that.
No, that's gonna be pretty cool. This is the first time you're bowling with the old man, right?
Yeah, first time with the old man in an event that pays cash.
In an adult tournament.
Yeah. And
that should be interesting.
It's basically behind the Roth Homan doubles and the Lucy. It's probably the third biggest doubles event in the country.
It definitely is. And this thing sells out like instantly.
Yeah.
But they got a boatload of teams, don't they? They got like 100 doubles teams, right?
They got a lot. I think it's 48 to a squad, maybe.
That's a lot.
I think they run 4 squads, yeah.
So this was brought up to me yesterday, actually. An idea for a show.
Okay.
So as we always take suggestions from our viewers.
Right.
Comparing junior bowling from my era, like the late 90s to 2000, early 2000s, to junior bowling in your era.
That could be a pretty good one.
That could be a good one. And the person that suggested it, he goes, well, look at the guys that, meaning we bowled with. So we bowled JBTs with O'Neill, Fagan, Rash. When we went to go bowl junior gold, Rash was bowling. Scott Norden, Scott Norden. There's a Scott Thornton in Delaware, but Scott Norden bowled. Robbie Spigner. We had a lot of heavyweights, just like you guys did too, or do in your generation. We could also discuss and debate stronger era.
Yeah.
Because junior bowling has changed a lot in 20 years. I mean, just look at it from this point of view. When I bowled juniors, I could never bowl an adult tournament and sign the waiver and turn the cash into scholarship money. That was the biggest thing. You guys can do that.
Yeah.
So that was one topic. And then the other topic was the one that I brought up to you.
Which was?
I started this conversation on Facebook.
Okay.
And it really kind of blew up like a lot. And
I remember you saying something about this. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people got involved in it and whatnot and said a lot of guys that we never even knew of. I wanted to go with the best bowler each state has ever produced.
Yeah.
And that could be really interesting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree.
And I think maybe we can do that. Maybe we'll break it up by like region, like east, south, central, west, and whatnot. And have some fun with that. We can maybe get a couple people with their opinions, the guys that, have been around the game for a while.
Right.
And
I agree.
That could be a lot of fun. I mean, just take the state of California, for example.
Right.
Now, people that were born in the state of California, right?
Okay.
Walter Ray Williams. Steve Cook. You want to go there or even go to Florida. Couch.
Right. Duke.
No, Duke was born in Texas.
Oh, never mind then.
Forget it. Go to Texas. Norm Duke,
Bohn.
Gary Dickinson, Del Ballard,
Right.
Robert Lawrence.
Yeah.
There's 4 Hall of Famers right there.
Simonson.
Exactly. You go to Florida. Couch, JJ.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, you go to Washington State, Earl. Brian Voss was from Washington.
Yeah.
Oregon, Dave Houston, Marshall Holman. New Jersey, I'm going to say New Jersey's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Dad, Johnny.
Oh, Johnny wasn't born in
Johnny's
New
from
Jersey.
Brooklyn. Yeah.
Johnny's from New York. But now go to New York. Just take New York, for example. Roth. Johnny. Uncle Doug.
Yeah.
Mike Newman. We've talked about Newman before. This is just not even professional. This is just any bowler, amateur professional.
Right.
How many good bowlers were... I'll give you another one out of New York. Underrated. Here's a good question for you. Ryan Schaefer.
Okay.
You think Ryan Schaefer's a Hall of Famer?
I mean, I think he could be or could have been. I think the only reason he's not is because he just never won a major.
Okay, so I'm going to hit you with this one then. And we just talked about it briefly. So Schaefer has 4 titles on the national tour.
Yeah,
I think.
But he's finished second in the majors 13 times.
Exactly. He was 13 seconds just in the majors. He has 13 seconds.
Right.
So look at Tita. Tita had 3 wins on the national tour. Granted, he has 8 wins on the senior tour. I don't think Schaefer's won on the senior tour yet.
No, I don't think so.
And I know 10's the magic number to get into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
But don't you think Schaefer's done enough to warrant him into the conversation to be a Hall of Famer? I know he only has 3 wins or 4 wins. I get that.
In the conversation, yes. But I think as time goes on, more and more players become eligible for it. And I think that someone like Belmo or Sean Rash.
Well, those are 2 no-brainers right there.
Yeah, some of those guys, I think as they become in the conversation, they should be put in.
So
especially if they're only going in 3 or 4 at a time, unless they have nobody else to put in.
So let's just say the next batch, right?
Okay.
Belmo, Rash, O'Neill.
Yeah.
3 no-brainers, right?
Right.
So who do you got coming up after that? But I know they look at the 10, right? That's the number. You got to hit 10.
Yeah.
Who else from that early 2000s to mid 2000s when they came out? Fagan never got to 10.
Right.
Scott Norton never got to 10.
Did Wes Malott get to 10?
Wes is at 10, I believe.
Yeah.
So Wes, in my opinion, Hall of Famer.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, that number could be lowered a little bit.
I agree with you.
Especially now that they're only bowling 20 events a year.
Yeah.
Or less than that. When they were bowling 40 events a year, I would agree 10 is probably a good number.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, Kyle Troop's only at 7.
Look at Buttriff.
Yeah, he's 7.
Butters have 10 yet?
I don't think so. Jesper?
How many? Jesper's another one.
Yeah. I mean, those are guys that I would consider at least to be put in the Hall of Fame.
But I think they're too young. I think is there an age limit? I think there's an age requirement in the Hall of Fame, 35, right?
I don't know how old it is, but I know all those guys are too young.
Yeah,
Simonson was eligible at 22.
Yes. So Rash, Belmo, Wes, and Billy.
Yep.
4 no-brainers.
Yeah.
100%. But I really think you'd have Schaefer's resume is phenomenal. I mean, just take the titles out of play. You said 13 second places in the majors?
Yeah.
He has 4 titles, 13 seconds in the majors, not counting other second place finishes.
Right.
He's bowled 300 on TV. He's he's won $1 million. I mean, his resume is better than most guys that's been out there for a while.
Yeah, I think you have to consider the other things besides just the titles.
So here's one for you, right? And this is another guy who's bowled on tour forever. Now he's a senior player.
Okay.
Michael Haugen.
Yeah.
So Michael Haugen he won the TSC.
Right.
I think he has 3 titles on national tour.
Yeah, not a lot.
He has a couple.
I think it's 3.
A couple on the senior tour.
Right.
So let's just say Haugen got to 8 titles or 9 titles on the senior tour. 3 on the national tour with a major. You put his resume next to Schaefer. Would you put him in over Schaefer if they were both eligible?
I think. God, that's
a good one.
I think if Schaefer doesn't win on the senior tour before Haugen gets to 8 or 9, yes, I would say Haugen because he's got the major win. He's got the senior tour wins. And the senior tour is not like it's light right now either.
It's getting stronger every year.
Yeah. That's kind of where I would go. I think if Schaefer gets to that same number, even if Schaefer gets to like 6 or 7, I would throw Schaefer in over Haugen.
Do you think he has enough without a senior title? Let's just say the senior tour folded tomorrow and the PBA 50s never exist anymore. Does Schaefer have enough if they were to, put him on the ballot? Do you think he has enough?
In my opinion, no.
Okay.
Unless they change the criteria. I think he's too far away from 10.
And he also won Rookie of the Year too. Give him that.
Yeah.
He is far from 10, but look at everything else this guy's done in his career.
Right.
Like, I don't want to. He's not a journeyman. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a guy who he made $23,000 every year. The guy was, I would never say Schaefer was a journeyman. Like, he wasn't a guy who just like was. You heard his name like 3 times a year. He was always there.
Right.
And forget in the majors. It was like he was snake bitten on those shows in the majors.
So someone like AJ Johnson.
Okay.
I mean, that's a guy I'd consider a factor most weeks on tour, right?
Yeah. Chapman's another one.
Yeah. And AJ's been around since 2015, 2016.
AJ
have a title yet?
No, he has a second in the Masters.
Yeah.
He lost to Belmo in the Masters.
Yep. I mean, AJ Johnson doesn't have a title, and I'd consider him a factor most weeks on tour.
Yeah, AJ Johnson's a pretty good player. He's gonna win. He's like Chris Vi. He's eventually gonna break through.
Yeah, and Chris Vi only has 1 title. Like, and
it's a major.
What's up with that?
You never really heard of Chris Vi until 2 years ago,
right?
And he made the show at the World the year they bowled at South Point when it was empty.
Yes,
he lost to Frankie. He made another show in a major that year. He broke through. AJ's gonna break through eventually.
Yeah.
But that's a good one, though, about Schaefer.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would definitely be worth the discussion, and I don't think it would just be a 10-minute conversation.
No, not at all.
But I also didn't grow up in that era when he was a factor every week to see it. Like, I see AJ Johnson being a factor every week.
I'll give you this
one,
too.
But I wouldn't consider him yet for the Hall of Fame.
No, I'll give you this one, too. Schaefer stood the test of time, too. And what I mean is, Schaefer won Rookie of the Year in 1987. He won it with urethane, right? Then he went to resin. Then he went to more modern resin. He was like the game never passed him by. He always modified changed his game as the game changed, beyond his control.
Right.
And he has that voodoo role anyway. Like when the heads are burning, he gets it through the fronts like nobody's business.
Right. I would say if they had almost like a committee vote for for the Hall of Fame, something along those lines, I would say he would probably get in that way. If that kind of makes sense. So like,
here's
if there was a committee of people that said, hey, like, who's someone that we think hasn't met the criteria yet that should be in the Hall of Fame?
I'll give you another one. Give me your opinion on this one.
Go ahead.
Do you think your accolades and your accomplishments in the regionals should play a factor in the Hall of Fame? And I'll give you 2 guys.
Okay.
Jeff Riggles. Riggles has 30 regional titles.
Okay.
Dale Traber.
That's a lot.
Traber Dale has 40. Okay. Now, granted, Dale Traber never bowled full time on tour ever. He has
right.
He made 2 shows. He finished second to his brother in the national championship. That was the show Johnny shot 300 on.
Okay.
And he finished second to Mike Miniman in West Virginia. But Dale Traber never bowled full-time on tour, ever. But he bowled a stop here or there. He make the finals, whatever. But he has 40 regional titles. Like, would you ever consider a guy like that or have, like, the USBC has superior performance, right?
Right.
So, like, Dad got in for superior performance. Janowitz got in for performance. There's another criteria for the USBC Hall of Fame. Riggles got in for that. Guys like that, you know, they got in that way. So why, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can't you put a guy like Dale Traber in the Hall of Fame? He's won 40 regional titles.
Right. I would say, yeah, it probably should be. But I think it's changing someone's mind at the top.
Okay.
And changing someone's mindset about it. Because it's been that way for so long. And if you look at guys before Dale Traber and Ryan Schaefer, there's probably guys that won regional titles before that.
Absolutely.
And a lot of them that had superior performance that didn't get to that 10 title.
So then add that
never got in the Hall of Fame during their time.
So add that to Schaefer then. 3 titles, 13 majors, 13 seconds in the majors, rookie of the year, 300 on TV. He must have 20 regional titles. Has to. We have to, right. You know what? We should do a show. Let's do this. Let's wrap this one up. Let's do our next show about the regional tour.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you what we'll talk about. We'll talk about guys, and I'm gonna pull a list. I know where I can get it from. Okay. Of the all-time title regional title holders.
Okay.
And the most regional wins. How many does Dad have? I think Dad said he has 18 or 28 regionals. I think he said he has, right?
I think it's 28. Yeah.
Yeah, because he has.
I know
he's not at 70.
20s.
He's not at 70 total yet, right?
I don't think so. No, because he hasn't won enough on the senior tour. He hasn't won enough on the senior tour, I don't think.
Just think of this. Weber has 101 career titles. National tour, senior tour, regionals. Walter's at 120.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Is that not insane?
That's incredible.
All right, so let's do that. So I'm going to pull some information.
Okay.
And then our next show, let's talk about the regional guys. Give them their due.
Okay.
And you know what? And then we can compare and say, you know, add X amount of titles to a Ryan Schaefer. Or how about Brian Leclerc?
Oh, yeah, he's another one.
Never won on the national tour.
Right.
But he's won on the senior tour. Was he player of the year a couple years ago on the senior tour?
I think so.
Okay, so let's say Leclerc gets to 10 titles on the senior tour. Okay. Never won on the national tour. And God only knows how many regionals Brian Leclerc has. Would you consider Brian Leclerc as a Hall of Famer? Or would you think the PBA should have some kind of, like you said, another like division or another wing of the Hall of Fame for guys that are, to say, not superior performance, but not meritorious services either? Like, you know, like name it something different.
Yeah, something that isn't superior performance on the national tour.
Exactly.
Superior performance in PBA events.
Exactly. And give you another one.
Or PBA competition, whatever you want to call it.
How about all the other Schaefer? He's won the Steve Nagy a couple times too.
Right.
I mean, my God. All right, let's wrap this up. We can go on and on for this for another hour.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do our next show. We'll do our What's Up in Wichita segment, which I kind of like.
Yep.
And then where are you this weekend? Are you bowling this weekend?
Not.
I'm
just kind of hanging out here. Last weekend before we go home, probably take care of a couple things, take care of a couple finals, and
beautiful.
Call it a semester.
So we'll do the week What's Up in Wichita.
What's Up in Wichita?
And then I will get some regional information.
Okay.
And we will have some fun with this, but I think this will be a good topic, and I'm sure we can get some people on and into the chat who are, privy to this and have an opinion and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's wrap it up. Holidays are coming. BuddiesProShop.com for all your bowling needs.
Be sure and use coupon code ZONE5OFF to save 5% off your next order. Go check it out, BuddiesProShop.com. They got everything that you could ever want as a bowler. Go check it out. So that's going to wrap this one up. Be sure, if you guys are watching on YouTube, go hit that subscribe button. If you guys are watching on Facebook, be sure and like the video so you guys or like the video, like the page so you guys never miss an update from the Bohn and Zano Zone. Check us out on Instagram.
We're all over.
All over, baby. And that's gonna wrap this one up. I'm Justin Bohn, my partner Mike Val, and this is the Bohn and Zano Zone, where we're always on the lanes, off the charts, and on the mic. We'll see you next time.